Ready? Okay. Okay, it's 5:30. We'll call the meeting to order. If you'd stand, please, for a moment of silent prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Our first item is the approval of the minutes of the Planning Commission meeting held on June the 9th. Does anyone have any corrections to the minutes? And if not, do I have a motion to approve them as submitted?
Yes.
Motion by Commissioner Ryan. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Lorendo. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Then we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And that carries unanimously. Okay, we have at the beginning of each meeting a public comment period. There's always a public comment period for the items on the agenda, but if anybody has any general comments they want to make, now's the time to do it. Okay, and seeing none, we will proceed to the first action item. And this is a request to find the proposed rezoning from T, transitional, to PD, planned development, consistent with the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code, and to recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning and the PD master plan for the properties owned by American Standard 4, LLC, Stephen R. Fulbright, JP Holdings, Inc., Rubric Properties, LLC, Rubric Family, LP, James Scott Pridgeon, Douglas and Lisa Surratt, and James P. Purdy, and located west of North Orange Blossom Trail, north of Hogshead Road, and 3845 and 4011 Golden Gem Road. And we have a staff presentation.
Good evening. David Moon, Planning Manager. The project manager was unable to attend this evening, Bobby House, so I'll be delivering the staff presentation. The project before you is the Rubric Properties Planned Development Zoning and the master plan associated with the PUD. The applicant is Paulus and Bennett. Heather Isaacs with Paulus and Bennett is in the audience and will likely be presenting to you shortly. The site is located to the west of Orange Blossom Trail, to the east of the Lake Apopka North Shore restoration area, and generally north of the Lust Road area and the industrial parks located off of Hogshead Road. This is a change in the boundaries that we reviewed at the time of the future land use map amendment. The boundaries used to incorporate the a southern area, which is no longer included. This was left as part of the presentation, so you would recall that this no longer includes the lands to the south of the boundaries proposed within the PUD. The future land use is industrial. This was also reviewed by the Planning Commission and City Council, and it was recently assigned an industrial land use. The request this evening is to assign a planned unit development zoning to the property, which is consistent with the industrial future land use, and to review and make recommendations on a master plan for a 350-acre approximately industrial park. As was presented in the Planning Commission packet, there is a master plan that comprises 6 lots. The majority of that 350 acres is contained in a larger parcel with smaller parcels located abutting to the Orlando Apopka Airport. Within the master plan, there are development standards and conditions that are imposed on the use of the properties. Some of those land uses that are permitted and prohibited are related to creating compatibility between the future industrial park and the operations of the airport. There are certain uses that can occur next to an airport that may not be consistent with operations. Such activities as the height, electric generation from the property could interfere with the equipment in the planes and so forth. So that is addressed within the master plan as conditions placed on future proposed uses within the property. This is further implemented through information within the master plan showing the location of the PUD here in the red dashed line and the airport, and there are special conditions that are placed on the PUD. They'd only apply in this case to these boundaries, so only that portion of the property that is within this airport zone. Heather will provide more detail as part of her presentation. Now, within the Land Development Code under Plan Development, there are specific requirements and information that applicant is required to prepare as part of the master plan. However, at this point, there is enough detail regarding the proposed industrial uses to address some of those issues. So based on conditions on the PUD, these are outlined on page 2 under major development plan requirements. So at the time of the major development plan, the applicant for the development of each lot will be required to meet each of these criteria. I won't go into great detail, but there are items such as exterior lighting plan, fences and walls, sign plan, green building standards. Those all have to be addressed at the time of the master development plan for each lot. There are likely going to be on-site and off-site infrastructure improvements that have yet to be identified and likely will be identified with transportation impact analysis prepared for each lot. Those off-site and on-site improvements will be incorporated into a development agreement, as well as any phasing of the project over a length of time. The phasing plan will also be addressed as part of a future development agreement. Again, that'll occur at the next phase of the planning and development for the Rubric Properties master plan area. So, based on Development Review Committee review and processing of this master plan, we found that the zoning and the master plan itself are consistent with the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code, and are recommending approval of the change of zoning and the master plan, subject to the conditions set forth within the staff report. And Heather can provide more details as what the future plans for the property, and she has a presentation she also will provide. Given that, I'll address any questions or comments that you may have or direct them to Heather.
Okay, any questions of staff?
No, sir.
Okay, thank you, David.
Bear with me, I'm just going to put that back.
Okay, and if you'll just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, Heather Isaacs. For the record, the address is 2602 East Livingston Street, Orlando, Florida, 32803. I just have a couple of very quick slides. First, we want to thank you for your time tonight, and also thank staff for working with us through this long process. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I think we're all still trying to get used to the masks. As David mentioned, the property is 349 acres, give or take. It was annexed into the city in May of 2019, and the comp plan amendment transmittal to the state occurred in April of this year, and that was to change the future land use to industrial. Again, here is a quick image of the master plan. We do have 2 access points called out as Wesley Road, and then also through an easement adjacent, or down where the airport entrance road is. And we are working with staff to make sure that all the proper documentation is in place for those access points before we move to the next stage. This is the airport zone plan. There are areas where we cannot do development. There are areas where we will be restricted. And as we bring development plans forth, more of that information will be provided. We just don't know where buildings are going to be placed yet. It's important to note that with the development program, this is a significant development, and we are excited to bring this economic development opportunity to the city to help you diversify the tax base. This is for 4.5 million square feet of industrial uses. We do have the ability to have some light industrial uses and some heavy industrial uses. However, those heavy industrial uses are limited to 35% of the land area because we don't want to have a lot of heavy industrial uses like junkyards and things like that that maybe isn't necessarily what the city is looking for. So that'll be applied to each development plan, where a maximum of 35% of that development plan's area will be able to use heavy industrial uses. And I'm here for any questions.
Okay, any questions of the applicant? Thank you very much. We'll close the presentations and open the public hearing. Anyone wish to appear before the commission on this item? Okay, and seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission. What's your pleasure?
I move that we find let me try this again in English. I move that we find the proposed rezoning from T transitional to PD planned development consistent with the Comprehensive Plan and Land Development Code, and to recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning and the PD master plan for the properties owned by American Sanford 4 LLC, Stephen R. Rubric, JP Holdings Inc., Rubric Properties LLC, Rubric Family LP, James Scott Pridgeon, Douglas and Lisa Surratt, and James P. Purdy, and located west of North Orange Blossom Trail, north of Hogshead Road, and 3845 and 4011 Golden Gem Road.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Lorendo. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by Commissioner Ryan. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion?
No.
Then we'll vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed say no. And that carries unanimously. Okay, our next item is a request to find a proposed small-scale future land use amendment consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the character of the surrounding area, and recommend approval of the small-scale future land use amendment from agriculture to industrial max 0.60 FAR for the property owned by 3307 South Claricona LLC and located east of Claricona Road and north of Stone Road. And we have a staff presentation.
Good evening, Planning Commissioners. Phil Martinez, Planner 2 with the City's Planning Division. The applicant is proposing a small-scale future land use amendment from agriculture to industrial for approximately 5.85 acres. The subject property is highlighted in yellow and located north of Stone Road and east of Claricona Road. To the north is the Nelson and Sons Nursery. To the east is Lake Charlotte and a property that's owned by the Apopka Nursery Property Owners Association. To the south are the Randall Mechanical Buildings, and to the west is the Orange County Fire Station number 28. The property is zoned agriculture district at this time, and an application for light industrial zoning has been submitted and will be presented at the next agenda item. The subject area is approximately 5.85 acres with industrially zoned or industrially oriented properties in the vicinity. The Development Review Committee recommends approval of the small-scale future land use amendment from agriculture to industrial, and the recommended motion for this evening is to find the proposed future land use amendment consistent with a comprehensive plan and compatible with the character of the surrounding area, and recommend approval of the change of future land use designation from agriculture to industrial, subject to the findings of the staff report. This concludes my presentation, and I'd be happy to address any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions of staff?
No, sir.
Okay, thanks much. Does the petitioner have a presentation? And sir, if you'd just give us your name and address for the record, please.
Sid Villain, 1540 International Parkway, Lake Mary, on behalf of the applicant. The only real presentation is just sort of an explanation, even though the owner of the property is an LLC that's 3307 South Clarkona. Essentially, that company is owned by the Randall Group of families, so this is an extension and expansion of the existing facility that is there. Happy to answer any questions, otherwise that's all.
Okay, any questions of the applicant? Okay, thank you very much. We'll close the presentations, open the public hearing. Anyone wish to appear before the commission on this item? And seeing none, we'll close the public hearing, bring it back to the commission. What's your pleasure?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to find a proposed small-scale future land use amendment consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the character of the surrounding area. I recommend approval of the small-scale future land use amendment from agriculture to industrial max 0.60 FAR for the property owned by 3307 S. Clarkona LLC and located east of Clarkona Road and north of Stone Road.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Washington. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Lorindo. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Then we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And that carries unanimously. Okay, our next item for this same property is to request to find the proposed change of zoning consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas, and to recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning from AG, Agricultural District, to I-L, Light Industrial District, for the property owned by 3307 South Clarkona LLC and located east of Clarkona Road and north of Stone Road. We have a staff presentation.
Phil Martinez, Planner 2 with the City's Planning Division. The applicant is proposing a rezoning from Agriculture District to Light Industrial District for approximately 5.85 acres at the same subject property as the previous agenda item. The proposed light industrial zoning, which is found south adjacent, is compatible with the previously proposed industrial future land use. The Development Review Committee recommends approval of the proposed rezoning from Agriculture District to Light Industrial District, and the recommended motion for this evening is to find the proposed change of zoning consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas, recommending approval of the proposed change of zoning from Agriculture District to IL, Light Industrial District, for the property owned by 3307 South Clarkona LLC and located east of Clarkona Road and north of Stone Road. This concludes my presentation. I'd be happy to address any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions of staff? Thanks, Phil. Does the petitioner wish to make a presentation on this item?
No presentation, but happy to answer questions.
Okay, any questions of the petitioner? Nope. Okay, we'll close the presentations, open the public hearing. Anyone wish to appear before the commission on this item? And seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission. What's your pleasure? Do I have a motion to find the proposed change of zoning consistent with the comprehensive plan and compatible with the character of the surrounding areas, and to recommend approval of the proposed change of zoning from AG, Agricultural District, to IL, Light Industrial District, for the property owned by 3307 South Clarkona LLC and located east of Clarkona Road and north of Stone Road? Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Washington. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Ryan. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Then we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And that carries unanimously. Okay, our next item is a request to find the Lake Standish Estates subdivision plat consistent with the comprehensive plan, land development code, and the final development plan, and recommend approval of the plat subject to the findings of the staff report for the property owned by Frank Devco LLC, care of Heath Frank, and located at 1130 Shopkey Lester Road. We have a staff presentation.
David Moon, Planning Manager. The request before you involves 1.88 acres along the west side of Shopke Lester Road. The property owner proposes to subdivide that property into 3 residential lots that will comprise 25,500 square feet each at a minimum lot width of about 85 feet. The Development Review Committee reviewed the application, found it consistent with the Land Development Code, and recommends approval of the plat.
Okay.
I'll address any questions that you may have.
Okay, any questions of staff? Okay, thank you. And does the petitioner have a presentation on this item? No, sir. Okay, no presentation. We'll close the presentations, open the public hearing. Anyone wish to appear before the commission on this item? And seeing none, we'll bring it back to the commission. What's your pleasure?
I move that we find the Lake Standish Estates subdivision plat consistent with the comprehensive plan, land development code, and the final development plan, and recommend approval of the plat, subject to the findings of this staff report for the property owned by Frank Devco LLC, care of Heath Frank, and located at 1130 Shopke Lester Road.
Okay, I have a motion by Commissioner Lorindo. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Washington. We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. And that carries unanimously. Do we have any old business? Do we have any new business?
Old business, dude.
Old business. Okay.
David Moon. I just want to take the opportunity to thank Planning Commission for your efforts over the past decade that I have worked with the city of Apopka. Many of you may or may not know, I'm retiring from the city of Apopka at the end of this month and will be working as the Deputy Director of Planning and Inspections for Cumberland County, North Carolina, within the next week and a half. But we wouldn't be able to conduct the good planning that we do here in Apopka if we didn't have the input from the volunteers that contribute their time, particularly for this board here. And I've worked with a number of you over the years and appreciate your time, your devotion, your commitment to the city of Apopka. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to work with you over the years.
I was
Best of luck to
I have
you.
a question about this. I have a question about this.
You have a question about?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, isn't it part of our responsibility to review all these kind of retirements?
Oh,
unfortunately not.
I haven't seen anything like this.
Well, one thing I would say as a member of this commission for several years, we would have a difficult time doing our job did we not have the planning commission staff that we have in the city of Apopka. So we'll miss you, but we'll certainly wish you the best. You wouldn't be doing it if you didn't think it was good for you, and for that we give you congratulations.
It's you all who make us look good.
yes.
Yes,
I
for
agree.
sure.
Good luck.
Okay, is that all the new business we have? Okay, then there being no further business to come before the commission, we'll be adjourned.